Hi, my name is Ron Languish, and I'm continuing a series of recording playthroughs of all the games that my brother and I have made over the years, preserve them in video format, and today I'm taking a look at Cannon of Wonders. This is on my Android phone. It's a mobile game, which is actually based off of an older game I made back in, 2009, called Cannon O Wonders. It's basically a mobile re-implementation of it that looks a whole lot better because by this time I knew and was engaged to / married to my wife Mary, who did all of the artwork for it. So it looks a lot better than the old version that I made. It was a fun project to work on together as a couple. It only took us like 3 years to actually make it. But it's just shoot random things out of a cannon and see what happens. I'm playing a version here that has basically everything or most everything unlocked. So let's give it a go. I have the golden cannon, which goes further. So you pick your direction, pick your power. A random object comes out. What do we got? We have I believe it's a beating heart. And so some of these objects like that cloud and I don't know, everything else I'm seeing is basic. The archer here are things that you would unlock throughout the game. So you may have noticed that there were some coins. If ever you hit coins, oh, there we go. The archers. I love how the arrows get stuck in the object and stay with it. But if you get coins from the object hitting the coins, you can then spend those to get new unlockables. And yeah, I mean, you can't tell probably from the video, but I'm not doing anything at this point. I'm just watching. And that's really the name of the game, is just see how far your thing goes. It is surprising how entertaining / addictive a game with literally no or as little skill as possible can be. I've played this a lot, obviously. But I've seen other people play it a lot, and it brings out something in people. I don't know what it is about cheering on your little random object and just the number of different things that could happen. You can see on my my high score here is almost 7,000. At one point, the online high scores are working for this. It's this orange button. I don't think they're currently working on my phone for some reason. The other thing is all these other screens look really weird on my phone. You'll notice like very glitchy weirdness on the outside. This has happened on some newer phones. I'm obviously doing something wrong in the game. It's supposed to have like black kind of pillar boxes that block off that. But that's clearly not working. So you've got that. You've got your statistics here. All these other screens are going to look weird, but you can see my total distance, total shots. I definitely reset my save file at one point, so this isn't like all time, but it's quite a bit. I like the max arrows in object. I at one point had 5 arrows stuck in an object. We got a credit screen. A lot of special thanks to people that tested it while we were still working on it. This is where you would have the in-app purchase to get the golden cannon. Now it just says thanks for playing. Our only setting is whether it has sound on or not. And then there's a store. So as you get coins, you can unlock things. Right now, because I've unlocked all the level objects or things that come up, the 250 would be to get a new background. The 25 would be to get another thing that could come out of the cannon. So if we play a little bit more here, we should be able to unlock another cannon object. I like that touch that the if a bird flies too close to the cloud, it gets zapped by lightning. It's just... Get coins would be I could watch a video ad to get more coins. I am not going to do that because technically that's against Unity Ads terms of service for me as the creator to watch ads that are on my account. And I don't want them to kick me out. I want to get one, like at least one that's over 3,000. I also want to unlock another cannon object. And I think when you unlock a cannon object, it guarantees that you'll get that cannon object. Oh, I'm so close. Guarantees that you'll get it the first time after that. Oh, look, it's a little shrimp. This is a harder game to like record a playthrough for because there's no skill. I have no control of what's happening, so it's like I just kind of just number of tries will get some good footage of, you know, because someday this will probably be my only memory of this game. It won't be playable anymore, most likely. Oh, how disappointing. Have I gotten any more coins? I haven't been paying attention. Oh, I did. 30. Let's see what we got. Hey, what is it? Marcho Graux? What is that? I'm like completely spacing how that word goes. Flying Toaster. I have said myself and heard from more than one source that this is the best pooping game. You know, you're sitting on the pot. You just watch your little object go. It's therapeutic. It's relaxing. It's just sometimes you want games that push your skill and make you work for things, and sometimes you just want to play a game like Cannon Wonders. It also has gotten excellent reviews from babies. I've had multiple people tell me how well it's gone over with their, 2-year-old. And I'm like, you know what? It's got a broad appeal. Oh, the snail missed. Oh, denied. This is also the first game I made using Unity, so that was partly why the project took so long, as I was using Unity for the first time, and not knowing what I was doing, coupled with the fact that, tall stop sign, those are rare. Coupled with the fact that I needed to use like Unity's built-in physics engine, which is why the physics in this game look way better than the original Cannon Wonders, because it's like actually using somewhat realistic physics. Was really tricky. I remember it being hard because I wanted realistic physics, right? Like I want it to kind of bounce and roll and rotate how you would expect. But I wanted it to bounce very unrealistically. Like it needs to bounce more on the ground like than a normal object would, right? Because a normal object would just hit the ground and stop for the most part. And so it's like I needed to make it bounce more, but if I made it like as if it was a bouncy material, then it caused issues with it actually like slowing to a stop, like because it would just be like too bouncy. I don't know. I just remember it being really hard to dial in like that it's bouncy and things, can kind of bounce along, but it also eventually stops and kind of slides to a finish. But I'm pretty happy with how it ended up. I love the portals. I mean, that wasn't very helpful, but they just make for fun situations. Slice of pizza. Oh, I already have enough for another cannon object, don't I? I wish I could see the online high scores because I think there are some very high scores. I think at one point someone managed to break 10,000, which I was wondering if it was ever going to happen. I mean, it used to be that like when I first released it, it was like there was ones in the 4,000 that was the highest. And then somebody got 5,000. It was like, oh my gosh, 5,000. And then it just kept going up and up. We got enough traction with the game on the App Store that we were getting a kind of regular flow of, I think even to the time of this recording, which this is probably, 3 years after we released this? We still, if I look at the analytics, get like anywhere from 5 to 10 people a day, like new users that find it through the App Store. So there were, you have enough people playing the game, you're going to get some crazy scores because it only takes one crazy run. There's no like limit. The game doesn't get harder as your object goes. Like it's literally just probabilities of what comes up. And so it's theoretically possible to keep going. Like, there's no upper limit to what score you could get. Now, while I say that, I can't freaking get more than, 1,000 right now? It's ridiculous. I think this little chess piece, technically, it could be like any of the chess pieces. It randomly picks when it comes out. I just got a pawn. One funny situation you can get is if you're going really slow and you go through a portal and that portal drops you into the other portal, you can actually get stuck like in an infinite loop where it's like going through the portals. But every time you go through a portal, it speeds you up. And if in that scenario, it's actually speeding up because of gravity as well. And so eventually, I have like a cooldown period on the portal that like when you go through a portal, there's like a brief amount of time that that specific portal won't trigger again. And so once you get going fast enough, eventually you hit a speed that's so fast that you're hitting the portal before it's ready to actually do it again, so you don't get stuck. I like intentionally put that in because otherwise you literally would get stuck like just infinitely. Oh, I have 50 coins. I haven't even been paying attention. Let's go get ourselves some objects. Pineapple, gotta love it. And a fish. My wife made us shirts that have a bunch, like a whole grid of the different canon objects in this game. Which is just funny. It's another memento we'll have of this game down the road. It's worth mentioning that besides me learning Unity for this game, Mary hadn't done a lot of like digital art, specifically like vector art. And so she actually learned Inkscape for all of the art in this game, which is a free vector drawing app. So this definitely was a project of completely new tools for both of us. So kudos to us for actually finishing it. You know, as a creative person, it's like you want to be a finisher. They don't need to be big things, but you want to finish projects. I think this iPhone random. There we go. There's the dragon. I think the iPhone picks like from a number of random screens it could have. I think that's literally like a screenshot of Mary's phone at the time. Come on. I don't even know what's the highest I've gotten during this stretch. It doesn't feel like I've gotten very much. Garden gnome. Man, I'm missing everything. I literally like didn't hit a single thing. Come on. I said I want to get over 3,000. Have I even gotten over 2,000? There we go. Into the wall. Wah, wah. It's a baby. So the baby is a classic from the original Canon of Wonders. Mary was, ooh, there we go, a spike off the trampoline. Mary didn't want to put the baby in the game. She thought it was too disturbing. I was like, we gotta put the baby in the game. It's not like gruesome. The game's so goofy. This is it. This is the run, isn't it? Oh, why did I say anything? I regret everything. What was that? The background, like birds chirping and wind, is actually the same audio track from the original Canon of Wonders. I still had the project, so I took a bunch of the sound effects from it. Because if there's one thing I'm lazy with, it's things like sound effects. I love the game development process, but there's certain things that I just am like, okay, I just gotta take care of this real quick. Gotta put in some sounds. I don't know. I think this ice cream cone gets randomly generated, what color the scoop is going to be and whether it has a cherry on top or not. It's one of those games where you could keep coming up with little Easter eggs or fun things to put in it or variations of things. But at some point we had to be like, okay, we need to actually like release this game and not worry about putting more content in it. After releasing it a few months after, I was like, oh, we should do like a kind of an expansion pack release where we had a bunch of new canon objects and we had some new like rare things that could come up. So I think there's like an upside down stop sign could come at the top of the screen, but it's really rare. Or like a group of archers. There's like, 5 archers. Just fun things that like you don't see very often, but is easy to kind of add into the game. And it was one of those classic things where you're like, oh, I'll do this quick expansion pack. We'll work on it for like a month and then release it. And then we ended up working on it for like 7 months just because, life is busy and you run into problems and you have ideas of other things you want to add and it just gets silly. Okay, I'm lowering the what we need to get to 2,000. I'm going to run out of things to talk about. I'm sure this is entertaining enough just watching it. But oh, there we go. That's about as high as it can go, I think, as if it gets lightninged onto a trampoline. This die randomly rolls itself, so we got a 2 this time. Oh, there's some goods. Oh, we're going to stop, though. Almost have enough for another cannon object, though. That's another original sound effect. It's John's voice sped up. In the original Canon Wonders, John helped with like a lot of the sound effects and some of the graphics. So he inadvertently got into this game as well with some of his sound effects. The first time we released the game, it used to have instant replay, so you could actually like rewatch. And that was because Unity at the time had a library thing you could add in called Unity EveryPlay that let you do recordings and like upload recordings to their EveryPlay website, which is kind of cool. But then they deprecated EveryPlay and they got rid of you couldn't do the website thing anymore, and I wasn't sure there was gonna be a way that you could like keep using it but without the website, but it wasn't working right, and so I finally just took it out entirely, which also helped because EveryPlay had all these permissions it needed, because it had like functionality that you could record the player's face and audio, and so like people would start up Canon Wonders for the first time and their phones asking them like, does Canon Wonders have permission to use your camera and save files and read this and do this? And I actually got like a 1-star review in the App Store that was like just complaining about why do you need all these permissions. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's just because of EveryPlay. We're using EveryPlay for replays, and because of that functionality, it needs all these things. So I think that got better once we removed EveryPlay. But I miss, because if you have because I've seen some crazy things happen in this game, just like really comical situations. Like, for example, having, like, you're going really fast and then you hit something and, like, hit a stop sign and it knocks you back. Like, there's certain times you can get knocked back and it knocks you all the way back, like, past the screen to the left. And there was one where it was knocked past the screen to the left, but off screen to the left there was, like, a dynamite or something. And the dynamite blew up, and so now it starts coming back onto the screen and starts bouncing, and while it was bouncing, like a helicopter slowly came onto the screen, and it actually hit it and it got going again. It was like a miracle, and it's one of those things that if you, without replay, you just have to tell people about that. You can't ever see it again. But it was cool to be able to actually have the video and could like share it. C'est la vie. I'm going to get my 2,000. I don't care if I have to sit here for... I've even lowered my standards to 2,000. There we go. That's another thing that's kind of a funny psychological thing with this game is I found that the longer people played it, the more they became convinced that like they didn't get as many good runs as they used to. Like I've had multiple people say things along the lines of like I used to get good ones all the time and now I never do. And I think what's really happening is their idea of what a good run is shifting. So like early on, you know, the first time you get to 2,000, it's like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. And so naturally anything just under 2,000 feels pretty good or, you know, once you get there. But once you have a run that's 3,000, now all the ones around 2,000, they don't feel that exceptional anymore. And so once the scores climbed up and up and we're starting to see things 5,000, 6,000, you know, they forget that how many runs they did without ever seeing one that was that, and it hasn't gotten any easier. It's not like another game where you've become more skilled and you're more likely to get a high score. Literally, your chances of getting that score are the same as they were when you first opened. Well, I mean, other than unlocking things. But once things are unlocked, it's the odds are the same. We can unlock something, can't we? So, there we go, Wiener Dog. That's going to be it, right? That's going to be our money. Oh, right into the crap. Oh wow, what are the odds? Get the Wiener Dog again. I think once you unlock everything, there's like 130 cannon objects total. Spatula. Oh my gosh. Like I'm gonna get 2,000. I don't care if I have to sit here. Actually, I do have kind of a hard cutoff here in 15 minutes, but I would hope that that's gonna be enough time. I haven't unlocked all the backgrounds. There's a lot of cool backgrounds, which were added in the kind of that expansion pack as another thing, because there were people that had unlocked everything, and then the coins are kind of useless at that point. So I wanted to put some more content that was a little more expensive that at least gave you something to save up on. We also added that once you unlock everything, you can then buy these like supercharges for the cannon. And so you'll pay and get like 10 supercharges. And those are kind of like how the golden cannon's more powerful, except it's just a super shot. It like fires like crazy. But they're consumable, so like once you use your 10 shots, then it's done. So that means that they always will have something to buy in the store, because you could always buy more charges of that. So that was our way of making it so that coins don't get to a point where they're useless. Okay, bowling ball. Here we go, bowling ball. Oh, baby. There it is. There it is. Let's go big. You're missing everything. No. No. Well, nothing too impressive, but that's Cannon of Wonders. I've seen some crazy things. I like the little high score that it shows you what object you got that score with. The guitar is my best by far. It's like over 2,000 over my next one. Though I think I had some better scores in my old save files. If you're watching this and haven't played Cannon of Wonders, you can probably find it on the App Store. You can probably download it and play it. It's a good little time waster. And with this, at least at the time of recording this, I'm getting really close to being caught up with all the recordings that I'm trying to do of all of our old games. I will be back with whatever the next one is in the near future. Until then, goodbye.